You are watching No Filter with Debbie. These are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? Joe Biden and what he did today. If you were watching the news, if you were watching any channel, because they broke into regular broadcasts for Joe Biden's announcement, then you saw him talking about what he's going to do. What he's going to do is the beginning of the end of our guns. Now, you think I'm exaggerating? I am not. He says it's the beginning of his many gun control measures that he is going to institute by fiat through executive order. Many of these are illegal. They infringe on the Second Amendment. And he has interesting takes on the Constitution and also on guns in general. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the problem is when you have leftists mixed with idiots, which sometimes it's synonymous, then you've got big problems because they have no idea what the actual process is to buy a gun. They have no idea about anything about guns. And I say this as somebody who is a gun owner, but I admit, I do not know a lot about guns, but man, come on, man. I know more about guns than this guy. And he's the president of the United States who has taken several actions today to limit our ability to buy a gun, to own a gun, to exercise our Second Amendment rights, which I have news for everybody. Without a Second Amendment, there's no First Amendment or any other amendment because you got nothing. If you have no way to protect yourself against the wolves, then you have nothing. Because you also have no way to protect yourself against the government who wants to take your rights away. Joe Biden, that's right, he wants to take your rights away. And it's very, very clear. So today, he and Merrick Garland, his attorney general, who also now supports gun control, used to be a moderate in name only, they announced these 6 measures. And they claim that they are going to close loopholes that don't exist. They claim that they are going to solve things. Now, not ordered today, but which Joe Biden has talked about and said he wants to do, is require a psychological assessment of every single person. That's right, every single person who wants to buy a gun. Are you serious? Can you imagine you are a gun owner and they say, well, we've decided now that we have to decide if you're mentally fit to own a gun, or you're not a gun owner, but you're worried about what's going on in this country. You saw all the looting for the last year, the destruction of businesses, the burning of people's businesses and homes and property, the murder of police officers, including black police officers. You saw what happened at the McCloskey's home where they tried to defend themselves. They had people walking all over their property, threatening them. If you watched all these things and you said, I'm not a gun owner, but I think I'm going to be, or, I only own a shotgun. Now I think I want a firearm that I can conceal. I'm going to get a concealed pistol license. I want to go buy a gun. If Joe Biden has his way, and he said this today, he wants a psychological assessment of you before you're allowed to buy a gun. Are you serious? Guess what? You take a drink at a bar, you drink several drinks, and you're intoxicated. You could go behind the wheel and kill somebody. You don't need a psychological assessment for that. Thank God. All the bars would be out of business. So would most of the restaurants because many of them rely on the alcohol they serve to get by. Gun owners, beware and be warned. This is the beginning of the end. Now, why did he pick today to do this? I think it's very interesting that he picked today because you see, today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. And as I have said on this show many, many times, I come from a family of Holocaust survivors, and I also come from a greater family of mostly wiped out relatives who did not survive the Holocaust. The Nazis rounded them up, sent them to the gas chambers, annihilated them, murdered them in cold blood. Why is it that Joe Biden picked today? I think it's very, very interesting. So My late grandfather Isaac used to always show me his guns. In those days, it was very, very difficult to get a concealed pistol license. You had to go before a county gun board, and they only gave it to people who were celebrities, to the very wealthy, to people who were connected with them. So my grandfather carried around the guns illegally. He concealed. That's a crime. That's a felony in many states, including my native Michigan, where my grandfather lived. He always showed me his guns, and he reminded me, as my dad also reminded me, both of them have since passed away, but they were both strong advocates of the Second Amendment, and they reminded me that the Nazis, at the very beginning, before they seized all the Jewish businesses, before they started rounding people up and sending them to the gas chambers, they told the Jews, you cannot own guns. Why? Because they wanted an indefensible people, not indefensible, a defenseless people. They wanted people who had no way of protecting themselves, who would have to go willingly to the death camps, to the gas chambers. That's what they wanted. And if you look throughout history, at least in my people, the Jewish people's history, every single country that has persecuted and kicked out the Jews, every single one that has annihilated the Jews, they all have one thing in common. Jews were not allowed to own weapons. Why? Again, they wanted what the Nazis wanted. They wanted meek people, and when you have no way of defending yourself and you know you could lose your life if you don't listen to the authorities, you're meek. That is the very definition. You don't have a choice but to be meek. That's what they wanted. They wanted a compliant people who will do whatever they say. They wanted a people that they can pick off, that they can send to their murders, that they can shoot them and throw them into a ditch easily. That's what this government wants when they want to take away your guns. So why did Joe Biden and his, by the way, Jewish in name only, I'm embarrassed this guy is a fellow co-religionist of mine, Merrick Garland, why did they pick today? Was it a coincidence? Did they just really not know what today was? Or did they do this on purpose? You know, you never know with these people. Nothing is coincidental with them. You know, as the French would say, quelle coincidence. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. And other people say there are no coincidences. So there's that. There's another coincidence that just happened. Joe Biden just announced yesterday, on the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day, that, and by the way, they were already starting to celebrate Holocaust, or to commemorate Holocaust Remembrance Day in Israel, when he announced that he is going to restore nearly $300 million in your money, U.S. taxpayer money, North Dakota taxpayer money, all of our taxpayer money, to Hamas, the Islamic terrorist group, and the other agencies, the other organizations, so-called, that run the various Palestinian areas. So Hamas is going to get this money. How do you think it's going to get distributed through Gaza? Hamas runs Gaza. Guess who gets the money every time America sends money over there? Hamas. So you are funding an Islamic terrorist group that Iran is funding. Yes, you, the North Dakota taxpayer, you, the American taxpayer, have a lot in common with the state of Iran. And they did this today and yesterday on the eve and during Holocaust Remembrance Day, at the same time that they're telling us, the American people, they want us to be like lambs to the slaughter. They want us to be sheep. They don't want us to have any way of protecting ourselves. And I'm going to tell you more about my family and Holocaust Remembrance Day, and also more about this issue, taking our guns and restricting what should not be infringed, our Second Amendment rights. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser, that reveals objects up to 150 yards away hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. And today we are discussing, at least in this and before the break, these segments, Joe Biden's new executive orders further restricting gun ownership, infringing upon the Second Amendment, and the very coincidental occurrence that he happened to announce it on Holocaust Remembrance Day. Why would he do that? Coincidence? I don't think so. But if you do or you don't, let us know on our social media pages on Twitter and Facebook. I'm curious what you think about it. I know what I think. And let's go through this. So, first of all, I told you, my grandparents, my maternal grandparents were Holocaust survivors. My grandfather was in Bergen-Belsen camp. That was his last camp that he was in. He was in several. And he never had a number on his arm. I may have mentioned this on a previous episode. The reason he didn't was that by the time it was time for him to get his tattoo, the Nazis just wanted to quickly do the final solution. They just wanted to kill the Jews, eliminate them. They didn't have time for the tattoos. Unfortunately, regardless of that, my grandfather survived. His wife, my grandmother Adela, was very, very lucky. She went to Paris, to the Champs-Élysées, where this was before the war, where her uncle, my great-great-uncle, was a very well-known tailor to the rich and famous. And he trained my grandmother how to be a tailor, how to be a seamstress. She was very skilled in this, and this saved her life. And we have a picture of her at the labor camp, the Nazi work camp that she was in. She's circled over there. And you can see in this picture even though it's black and white, you can see women in the front row. They're all wearing the stars. You just can't see them all well in the picture, but you can see two women in the front row have stars. You could see a woman in the back row, two women in the back row, their stars are visible. They were all forced to wear those yellow stars that said Jude on them, or Juden, signifying that they were Jewish. You know, they were marked. This is what the Nazis did. We know that. Now, the people in that photo looked healthy. They look healthier than what you would expect from a concentration camp, but in fact, they were fed almost nothing. They worked them almost the entire 24 hours per day. My grandmother, her job was to make the Nazi uniforms for the Wehrmacht. In fact, my grandmother literally made the brown shirts for the brown shirts. She was lucky because the rest of her family was rounded up and sent to Auschwitz, where they were murdered. And my grandfather, the rest of his family, pretty much, except for a cousin that went to Israel when he was 12, they were all murdered. So this is what happened to my family, and it's on this day we remember that. And my grandfather always used to tell me, I mentioned to you, he owned guns. He always told me how important it was. And my father also told me that. And if you look at who the people were that were the heroes, other than our troops that liberated the camps in World War II, other than the Allies, if you look at who the heroes were during World War II, during the Holocaust, there were several Jewish, a lot of people say, why didn't the Jews fight back? Why didn't they just go willingly? Why didn't they fight back? Well, the reason they just went willingly and they didn't fight back was they did not have a choice. Again, as I told you, they were not allowed to own firearms. But there were a bunch of Jews that did own firearms illegally. They stole them. And you may have seen the movie Defiance about the Bielski brothers. I know one of their sons, and they stole the weapons. They fought back. They killed lots of Nazis. They sabotaged them. There were a number of partisans and a number of militias like this with Jewish people who did this, and non-Jews also during World War II. One of the people is my friend on Facebook, Max Sabrin's father, who is a very, very well-known Jewish partisan who killed a lot of Nazis. And you know what? They took revenge on the Nazis. Not as much as should have been taken, but they took some, and that is a good cause. They wouldn't have been able to do any of this. They probably would have been murdered by the Nazis as well, but for owning firearms. As we all know, a firearm is the ultimate equalizer. If you don't have a Second Amendment, if you're not able to own a weapon, you're defenseless among the wolves. It's just that simple. And my grandfather used to always tell me, the Holocaust survivor, he would say, Debbie, never trust a Linka. Linka is Polish for a leftist, because they want to take your rights away from you. They want to take your guns. They want you to be defenseless like we were and be rounded up to be taken to the camps. That's what they want. And he was right. He spoke from personal experience. He lived this. And, you know, my director during the break, my director Luke, was telling me that they had somebody who survived the concentration camps who was from the Netherlands. And that person said that they took their guns. They first rounded up everybody who was a gun owner. Yeah, they have that database. You register your gun, that's what you get. I'm a registered gun owner, but you know what? They have this database, and that's what the Nazis did with it. So it's just auspicious that Joe Biden picked this day. Now, let me go through what some of his executive orders entail. So he said that he is going to close what's known as the Charleston loophole, which allows gun sales to proceed without a complete background check if 3 business days have passed. Here's a tip. Illegal aliens are not using the Charleston loophole. They have no clue. It's barely a loophole, and we'll get into that. They're not doing that. They're getting an illegal gun with the registration numbers or the serial numbers defaced off of the gun. That's what they're doing. They don't care about these laws. Those won't affect them. They are still going to get guns, and those of us who are law-abiding, we are the ones who are going to be affected by this. And I'll tell you in a minute or two why that's just wrong, this Charleston loophole. Another thing that he's doing is he's reinstating the ban on assault weapons. He's eliminating gun manufacturer immunity, which, again, will make guns more expensive for you and for me. Us, the law-abiding citizens, the people who steal them and buy them on the street, they're not going to be affected by this immunity. And you know what? Why should a gun company be immune? Like I told you before, somebody goes to the bar, they drink, and then they drive and they kill someone. Is the alcohol manufacturer going to be sued? No. Is the bar going to be sued? Possibly, but they're really not responsible. The person who keeps drinking is. The bartender should stop serving them, true. But I believe in personal responsibility. Come on. Stop blaming everybody but yourself. Is the car manufacturer, are we going to be suing Ford, GM, and Chrysler, Mercedes, Lamborghini maybe? We going to be suing them because somebody driving one of their cars killed somebody? No, that's not what happens. All right, so then somebody goes and stabs people instead. We going to be suing the silverware companies, the knife companies? No, that isn't going to happen, and this is ridiculous. Also, what Joe Biden is doing is he's also reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, which he pushed as a senator. He pimped it, and he said that it gives important federal protections and support for domestic violence survivors. What does that have to do with guns, number one? And number two, does anybody out there think it's legal to engage in domestic violence? By the way, women are not the only victims of domestic violence. Can we please disabuse ourselves of that fallacy, that fraud, that fairy tale? All right, when we come back, we're going to show you some video of some of the most ridiculous things Joe Biden has said today and in the recent past about guns and why he's wrong, that and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So we're talking about Joe Biden's new gun control laws, his executive orders, and also the fact that it coincides with Holocaust Remembrance Day. So first, take a look at this famous picture from the Holocaust of a little boy surrounded by several other Jews during the Holocaust. Look, their hands are up. Why are their hands up? Why are they giving in to the Nazis? Because they're defenseless. No weapons. They cannot defend themselves. Now I want to show you another picture of a Jewish militia during the Holocaust. So take a look. This is my friend Max Sabrin's father. He's in the middle in the back there with the dark hair. And this is one of the many militias that they were courageous. They stole the guns. They attacked the Nazis. They sabotaged them. They saved their own lives and those of many, many other people. Tens of thousands, more than that if you count all of their descendants who survived, all the people they saved. Now, contradict that or juxtapose that with this video of Joe Biden talking about the Second Amendment and our Bill of Rights. Check this out.
Dr. Joe Biden, who cares deeply about this issue as well. And I look out there and I see so many members of Congress who've led in this fight. So many of you who've never given up. So many of you are absolutely determined, as Murphy and others are, to get this done. We got a long way to go. It seems like we always have a long way to go. But also, today we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis. Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment. They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake from what we're talking about. But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. We call it freedom of speech. From the very beginning, you couldn't own any weapon you wanted to own. From the very beginning the Second Amendment existed, certain people weren't allowed to have weapons. So the idea is just bizarre to suggest that some of the things we're recommending are contrary to the Constitution. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic.
All right, so you just heard him. He said no amendment is absolute. And at the beginning of the Second Amendment, some people weren't allowed to own weapons. You know what those people were? Blacks and women. So apparently he wants to return to that day. This idiot, Joe Biden, this moron who is now our president. He thinks that those some people who couldn't own weapons, apparently we should return to that because no amendment is absolute. That's what he's saying. No amendment's absolute. So the 14th Amendment, I don't get due process and equal protection under the laws. That's not absolute. The 5th Amendment, if I want to exercise my right against self-incrimination, not absolute, apparently, according to him. No amendment's absolute, so maybe slavery can come back. Women shouldn't have equality. I mean, these are their issues, apparently. I mean, we all believe in equality, but they like to take ownership in that. But apparently they're not absolute. That's what he's saying. Now, I want you to take a look at the language of the Second Amendment. Take a look. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I don't know. Shall not be infringed. That sounds very absolute to me. But what do I know? I only speak the English language, several others as well, but I only speak the English language. I only understand it. Is there something about shall not be infringed that doesn't sound absolute to you? Yeah, me neither. But Joe Biden will somehow get around that, he thinks. Now, want you to take a look at this video of Joe Biden talking about what you should do and how he gets to decide, apparently, that I only need 2 bullets. Check this out.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun, have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun, and I promise you, as I told my wife, we live in an area that's wooded and somewhat secluded. I said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. I promise you, who's ever coming in is not going to... You don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim, it's harder to use, and in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself. Buy a shotgun.
All right, so you don't need 30 rounds. Joe Biden now thinks he gets to decide how many rounds you need. And apparently, since he told Jill Biden at their secluded house to go into their backyard and shoot off 2 rounds from a shotgun, a 12 gauge, because you don't need an AR-15, you don't need anything. She gets to decide, he gets to decide. Are you serious? The Second Amendment does not say only 2 rounds, you don't need 30. He does not get to decide that. He never will get to decide that if we stand up for ourselves. If we stay, you have to enforce the Second Amendment. There are going to be, thankfully, a lot of lawsuits about this, and there should be. He does not get to decide these things. Now, he said, I told Jill, go out in the backyard. We live in a secluded place. Just shoot off 2 rounds from a double-barreled 12-gauge shotgun, and you're going to scare off all the criminals. Really? You think a criminal that's going to see Jill Biden, let's say there's no Secret Service, she's not the First Lady, she's in a secluded backyard, nobody's there, she shoots off 2 rounds? No criminal is going to care. Think they're going to be scared off by her? They'd be more scared by her very ugly fishnet pantyhose and that getup we showed you the other day. They ain't going to be scared from her double-barreled shotgun being shot off twice. It ain't going to do anything. By the way, what he just advocated and what he told Jill Biden to do, that's illegal. You will go to jail for that if you just shoot off a shotgun for no reason. You can't do that. Don't take your legal advice or your gun advice or advice that you don't need 30 rounds. How does he know what I need? How does he get to decide what I need? Don't take your advice from Joe Biden. I'll tell you something. If he is your personal security consultant, it's an IQ test, and you failed miserably, miserably. So there's that. Now, the gun shows that we talked about earlier. Take a look at this video.
Most people don't know it. You walk into a store and you buy a gun, you have a background check. But you go to a gun show, you can buy whatever you want and no background check.
All right, that's not true. That's an absolute lie. And this Charleston loophole is almost never used. Let me tell you what it is. If you go to a gun show, most people at gun shows are licensed dealers. You have to fill out a form and you have to go through a background check. It's all the same. Now, if it's a private dealer, usually they're selling to friends, somebody they know, then it's different. You still have to wait. We mentioned the 3 days from this Charleston loophole. It's just not true. It's just not that frequent. It's just not that easy. But he doesn't know what he's talking about. When was the last time he was ever at a gun show? Never. When was the last time he ever tried to buy a gun? Never. This guy is a moron, and he is our president. This is the guy that is deciding. Again, he wants to decide how many bullets you have. You don't need 30 rounds, he says. He wants to decide how long you wait for a gun, what you have to do. Are any of these things going to affect criminals? Do you think a criminal is going to say, I want to go rob a bank. I want to go rob a liquor store. Maybe I'll kill the owner. But while I'm at it, I'm only going to take 2 rounds in a double-barreled shotgun because Joe Biden said, I don't need 30 rounds, and I'm going to listen to him. Said no criminal ever. All right, when we come back, we will finish this up. And also, Hunter Biden's new book is out, and there are some things that aren't in it, but they were on his laptop. We'll tell you what they are, that and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. We are talking about the Joe Biden the first volleys into his war on guns and gun owners and the Second Amendment. Just the first volleys. This is just the start. So if you think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, trust me, it's a big deal because it's a slippery slope and he is skiing down that slope as fast as he can. Now, I did make one mistake in a previous segment. I just want to go back to this photo. So the man in the dark hair in the back, these are the Vilna partisans. And the man in the dark hair in the back, that is not my friend Max Sabrin's father, Abe Sabrin, who was a commander in the Vilna partisans. That is a guy named Abba Kovner. And there's a really great book and even, I think, a documentary about them called We Dared to Live, A Tale of Courage and Survival. And there is and that is by Abe Sabrin, my friend's dad. And then there's another one called Until Our Last Breath. And it is about the Kovner gang and the Vilna partisans and how they fought the Nazis. And listen, they said, we will fight them until our last breath. We would rather die than go to the gas chambers where they would die. You know, we would rather die than go to the death camps where the likelihood is that they would die. This is why it is so important. You don't want to end up like them. This is the slippery slope. It is why it is so important to be able to defend yourself, to own a gun, to go to gun ranges and practice target shooting and things of that sort. You have to be able to defend yourself. You never know who's going to come to your house, who's going to confront you on the street. You never know. And you know what? When every second counts, the police are only minutes away. You think they're going to want to do anything when Derek Chauvin is on trial for his life right now with everything? Of course not. Nobody wants to be a police officer. They're not going to rush to go save you. As much as I support the police, I understand what's going on. Gotta be able to defend yourself. And it starts with the full exercise of your Second Amendment rights that Joe Biden doesn't want you to know about. All right, so we showed you him talking about gun shows. What we didn't talk about is David Chipman. So David Chipman is Joe Biden's new leader of ATF. That's him. And he is a big gun grabber. He's a big advocate of gun control. He was working for Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, the former Congresswoman, who's big on gun control. He was working for her gun control organization. He's worked for several pro-gun control organizations. He's going to be running the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Yeah, that guy who wants to take your firearms away from you, and more from you than he does criminals, terrorists, illegal aliens. Them he's not too concerned about at all. Now, the West Virginia Attorney General is going to fight back on this. He said he might sue the Biden administration. Here's what he said. So his name is Attorney General, what is his name? West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. He is a Republican. That's him over my shoulder. And he said defending the Second Amendment remains one of the most important priorities for the West Virginia's Attorney General's office. I will not allow the far left to run roughshod over our citizens' gun rights. If President Biden follows through on his proposals, we will be in court very quickly. Gun violence and the senseless death attributed to it should pain all Americans. However, the evil acts of a select few should never be a catalyst for stripping the lawful masses of their constitutional rights, especially their right to self-defense and to bear arms. Bravo, bravo, bravo. This guy is a hero, and we need more heroes like him. I think North Dakota Attorney General Wayne Stenstrom should join this fight. Hope he's watching. This is a good step for him to take. If we have all the Republican attorneys general, and listen, even Democrats should be doing this, then we should be okay. Listen, this is not a partisan issue. You think blacks in the inner city who mostly voted for Joe Biden, you think they want to be defenseless in the streets when we know that most crime is committed by violent crime is committed by blacks against other blacks? You think they want to be defenseless on this? No. You think that women want to be defenseless? I sure don't. I can't speak for all women, but I can sure speak for me. And the only thing that will equalize me against a criminal, I'm only 5'1", I'm tiny. You know what's the only thing that's going to protect me against a criminal, absent another gun owner being with me? It's myself, keeping and bearing my own firearm. That is where it's at. So that is West Virginia's Attorney General. And we told you that Joe Biden also announced he's restoring aid to Hamas. Again, very auspicious that he picks this time to do that. And then finally, there is the McCloskeys. Remember them? I think we have a picture of the McCloskeys. They were on their front porch in Missouri. Remember them? That picture, you know, all the pictures you see like that one, they don't show you the full extent of the crowd around them. So they're being maliciously prosecuted, and the prosecutor on their case was fundraising off of them, meaning that she has an interest in them not only being prosecuted but convicted. You can't have prosecutors that are doing this. You can't have an interest in prosecuting somebody, a personal financial interest, which this woman did. You can't have that. So this woman was removed by the Missouri courts. Thank God for that. We still have some sane judges. And I believe there are more sane judges than just those. I believe that judges, when they see these lawsuits about Joe Biden's executive orders, this could go all the way to the Supreme Court. And one thing about Amy Coney Barrett, she may have squished on a few issues. She is tough on the Second Amendment. She is strong on that issue. That is a winning issue. So there's that. Now, Hunter Biden's new book is out, and he's been doing those interviews. And of course, he's only doing interviews with the softball mainstream liberal media who aren't asking him anything of consequence, nothing of consequence. So his book does not discuss a lot of things we've told you on this show, a lot of things you may have heard about in other media, not mainstream. But I'll tell you what has happened. So the Daily Mail has now gotten a hold of the laptop, and they have verified. Apparently, this laptop was shopped around by Giuliani and the Delaware computer store owner to more than one media source, not just the New York Post, but also the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail, now 7 months after this story broke, thank you for waiting so long after the election. 7 months later, they have verified that the laptop is absolutely Hunter Biden's laptop. They've gone through all the emails on the computer. Apparently, there are text messages stored on the computer. They've gone through all of them, and they have a lot of revelations from those that are not in his book. Shocker. And when we come back, we will go through some of those revelations. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we told you that the Daily Mail has finally verified that this is, in fact, Hunter Biden's laptop, the computer that the New York Post was locked off of Twitter for nearly a month because they tweeted about a story they reported on it. The Daily Mail has gone through everything. They say it's legit. This is Hunter Biden's laptop, and he did leave it at the Delaware Computer Fix-It guy's store. And he even says himself he won't deny it's his laptop. He even told Gail, Oprah's friend on the CBS morning show, that it could be his laptop. So the Daily Mail says that they looked at a cache of 103,000 text messages, 154,000 emails, more than 2,000 photos, and those were all verified by top forensic experts. And here's what they say is on the computer that is not in his book. In text from 2019, Hunter begged his father to run for president to salvage Hunter's own reputation. Hunter repeatedly dodged police action against him despite constantly dealing with drug dealers and prostitutes and having multiple run-ins with the law. Boy, this guy has a million lives. White privilege, if ever there is an example of it, the guy over my shoulder you're looking at, that's white privilege. White liberal, Democrat, son of Joe Biden privilege. All right, so it goes on to say the president's son was guarded by a Secret Service agent while on a 2018 drug and prostitute binge in Hollywood, despite not being entitled to Secret Service protection at the time. And we told you a couple of weeks ago about how the Secret Service was intervening when he wasn't entitled to Secret Service protection. Back when his sister-in-law, his ex-sister-in-law / girlfriend / paramour, that she took his gun and dumped it in a garbage can behind a fancy supermarket. The Secret Service was getting involved for him then when he was not entitled to it. I think that was also 2017 or 18. Also, the Daily Mail reports Hunter appeared to be obsessed with making porn films with prostitutes, videos, and photos on his laptop. According to texts, emails, videos, and photos on his laptop. Texts also showed Joe Biden was afraid his conversations with Hunter were being hacked, even as they discussed his White House bid. Also in the Daily Mail article, and you can look this up, there's a lot more. I'm only giving you the highlights, or as it were, the lowlights. This is the Cliff's Notes version. Joe Biden repeatedly consoled him and praised him each time he relapsed into drug abuse and offered him cash to get off drugs. So Joe Biden is an enabler, did not give him tough love, basically massaged and enabled Hunter Biden's drug use, his criminal activity. This is our current president of the United States, and this is the first son. No wonder he wasn't on the campaign trail ever. And by the way, in the past on this show, I have to apologize to the ghost of the late Billy Carter, and also to Roger Clinton, Bill Clinton's brother. And also maybe even to Hugh Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother, because I said if you like those guys, you'll love Hunter Biden. So I made the comparison. Please, they ain't got nothing on this guy. They have nothing on him. This guy makes them look like the choir boys at the church. This is amazing that this guy is the first son and is now being protected courtesy of you, the North Dakota and the American taxpayers. Really, it's outrageous, but this is the president's son. Yay, America. Thank you, voters. Again, we don't know. There may have been voter fraud. Maybe Joe Biden didn't get elected duly, but I'm just talking about who's in there now. All right, so here's some quick hits that we have, some interesting news stories. Check out this photo from a TV news report. Look at this graphic. You're looking for a criminal. Look at what is circled on, this is from Fox 8. So this is a Fox owned and operated local station, owned and operated by Rupert Murdoch. This is clearly a black guy, but do they call him black? No, it's dark white skin. Yeah, it's always the white guy's fault, always the cracker. Dark white skin. All right, so there's that. Now, Adam Levine. What? Look at this photo. Adam Levine, the rocker, with all his tattoos. Check this out. Yeah, he dressed in a dress along with his wife and his two kids. Yeah, That's normal. That's normal, right? Right? Very normal. Not barf. Barf. All right, now, Dear Prudence. Have you ever heard of Dear Prudence? So it's one of these advice columns, and this one is in Slate, which is a liberal, it's a mainstream liberal website online, slate.com. Dear Prudence is an advice column, and somebody wrote in and they said, Dear Prudence, my sister-in-law used to be a man, now wants to be a woman, and my sister-in-law took the name of our baby. My sister-in-law claims we named our baby after her. My husband and I are baffled, more than a little uncomfortable. So what does Danny Lavery, who answers Dear Prudence for this liberal website Slate, say? Deal with it, and you're a transphobe. We have a little video to illustrate.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
Is that not true? Listen, we are in an age now where every single thing that is in the Babylon Bee and every little thing that is on Family Guy is now reality. Telling you, The Simpsons, Family Guy, this is our new reality. The Onion headlines, they're like maybe a week behind, maybe even only a day behind. This is our new reality. Adam Levine in a dress. You're being a transphobe when your trans former brother-in-law, who now claims to be a sister-in-law, takes your baby's name and claims you named the baby after him/her. This is America now. Deal with it, as they say, please. No, we don't have to deal with it. Now, we've got this video of Geraldo. I'm not sure, do we have time for this Geraldo video? All right, we don't have time for it. We will show you this tomorrow because it is just incredible what Geraldo has said. We are going to have to show you that on tomorrow's show. But before we leave, I want to tell you about this free speech issue. This is amazing. You already know Donald Trump is kicked off of Twitter. Donald Trump is kicked off of Facebook. He is not allowed on them. Facebook has this new Supreme Court of theirs. So I guess it's like the Bill Clinton being on the Supreme Court of the Hawaiian Tropic Bikini Contest Court. And they have said that they will decide later if Trump gets back on Facebook. Here's what Twitter did. Twitter said they are not even going to allow an archive of Donald Trump's tweets that were allowed before he was kicked off Twitter. This is how bad the tech giant censorship is. And it's going to only get worse unless we do something about it and fight back. Remember, things are not always as they seem. See you tomorrow.